Reaction today continues to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals decision last week and the Trump administration's response to it. Joining me right now is Senator Lindsey Graham from South Carolina, member of the Senate Judiciary Committee and the Senate Armed Services Committee. And sir, it is good to have you back on the program. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Your reaction to Donald Trump's response, where he basically says, look, I'll see you in court.
Well, what he should think about, I believe, is issuing another executive order that's modified. If the president really believes we're at threat from these countries, and there may be a good reason to believe that, I think you could modify the order with a new executive order that would withstand judicial scrutiny. But about the Ninth Circuit, they're notoriously liberal, and they're notoriously wrong when it comes to applying the Constitution. They get struck down far more than they get upheld. But in a 4-4 Supreme Court, I think the president should be very careful about appealing this order.
So you think that it was a weak response then?
Well, no, I think the president needs to make a good decision for his administration and the country as a whole. If it's 4-4, the Ninth Circuit stands. If I were him, I would issue a new executive order making sure that green card holders are not included and interpreters are not included in the ban. And I think it'll sail through the court, or wait till another circuit rules on the same issue, then maybe appeal, take that to the Supreme Court.
So do you think he ultimately wins if, in fact, this does go to the Supreme Court?
Most likely. I think the president has a lot of discretion, as he or she should, when it comes to entry into the country regarding national security. The whole idea of the Ninth Circuit would second-guess his national security judgment is a non-starter, and I don't think will be upheld by the Supreme Court. And it's clearly not a Muslim ban. There are Christians and other people in these countries that can't travel either.
I think that the pushback from the left on really anything President Trump does has been so severe. And now, of course, they are threatening not to nominate Neil Gorsuch to the Supreme Court. They're refusing to vote for him just to get back at Donald Trump and the Republicans for not taking Merrick Garland seriously.
Well, one thing you can keep the tape here, Gorsuch will get 60 votes. There are enough Democrats on Capitol Hill who have a political need to seem reasonable where they want to be or not. Trump won their states. We need 60 votes to move to final confirmation of Judge Gorsuch. I believe we'll get more than 60 votes in his case because he's so well qualified. I'm not worried about his nomination at all.
How will his presence on the court change the Supreme Court?
I think you'll have somebody like Scalia. He's a man of the law. He's one of the most qualified people to ever be nominated for the Supreme Court. He's clearly conservative. He's in the mold of Anthony Scalia. So I think you'll see a continuation pretty much of what you got with Justice Scalia.
Yeah, I mean, I think just the fact that he was nominated unanimously the last time he was up at bat makes you wonder what's going on here. Is this just stall tactics? Is this just trying to push back on anything the president does?
Well, they lost the election. They're in the process of losing their mind. The bottom line is the left is gone nuts. They can't understand why they lost. They want to attack Trump at every stage. You see the emergence of a Tea Party type movement on the left. And I can tell you this, there's some Democratic senators who are in Trump states that if they follow the lead of the radical left, they're going to lose their job.
Let me switch gears for a moment, because there is a lot of conversation this weekend about the Muslim Brotherhood and whether or not the Trump administration should name the Muslim Brotherhood a terrorist organization. Do you think they should?
I think it's worth looking at, but you got to be cautious here because you have Muslim Brotherhood affiliated groups in the government in Morocco and Tunisia that have actually been very helpful to the United States. The CIA report is worth looking at and absorbing. So I would tell the president to talk to Muslim leaders, the King of Jordan, and other people in the region to see what kind of effect it would have on their ability to govern. Yeah, you don't want to make them martyrs.
There's a debate. A lot of people in high leadership positions, even in the Muslim world, say that that is a diseased part of Islam, and in fact they should be termed that. But what would the implications be?
Well, the Muslim Brotherhood has a mixed reputation. Clearly, they've engaged in violence in some areas, and sometimes they're seen by the populations as providing services the government wouldn't provide. The bottom line here is the CIA report is pretty insightful. I would tell the president and his team to call the region, talk to our allies in the region, and get their input. What I would do tomorrow is designate the Afghan Taliban as terrorists. I would do that tomorrow. And
so much debate about this and so many other issues when it comes to foreign policy. You know, I know that there's been jabs back and forth between you and President Trump and of course, Senator McCain and Donald Trump. Do you think it's high time you guys went out for a beer and had a conversation or got on the same page about things?
Absolutely. I think radical Islam is a common enemy to mankind, that President Trump will have no better ally than John McCain in rebuilding the military. He should listen to Senator McCain, and Senator McCain should understand, as he well does, that President Trump is now our commander-in-chief. I want to help our commander-in-chief. The one difference I have with him really is around Russia. I pretty much see the world the same as the Trump administration when it comes to Iran, North Korea, China, but Russia is very problematic. I think the president doesn't appreciate that Putin's Russia's enemy to democracy and an enemy to the United States. And if you treat Putin as anything other than our enemy, you're making a mistake.
So obviously you're against lifting sanctions, but we haven't heard from the Trump administration on this and whether even they were considering it.
I hope they will not. I hope they will punish Russia more. They have not been punished for interfering in our election. They're trying to do the same thing in France and Germany. They're also undermining our efforts in Afghanistan. I was astonished to hear by the commander in Afghanistan that since 2016, Russia has been actively involved in undermining our efforts to win in Afghanistan. The reason being that Putin doesn't want democracy to flourish anywhere, because democracy anywhere is a threat to him wherever he goes. So it's time to punish Russia. They're up to no good.
All right, we will leave it there. Senator, good to have you on the program this morning. Thanks so much.
Thank you.